My people, my people. Hello, hello. Your boy GizzyCredit here. How y'all doing? Let me see if you guys can hear my intro video. Hold up, hold up. Let me see. Yeah, right now. Calling now. Calling you. Calling you now. That's my partner. So hope everyone is well. GizzyCredit theme song. Okay, there you go. Let me see if y'all can hear that. Oh no. Let me see if y'all can hear that. Right? Y'all can hear that? Hello. Hello, hello. Oh, you guys hear? You guys see me? I don't see myself anymore. Gizzy, you the best. Oh, thank you, CEO. Can you see me? I see a blank page on my stream. Let me see. Trade line service, Cole's Credit Repair. I told you already to DM me or go to my Instagram, DM me your email address or write your email address, and I'll send you my contact for trade lines. If you want the trade lines, or are you offering me trade lines? I don't know. What you trade line service or no? Yes, we offer trade line service. All right, let me get my part. How you guys hear me? Do you hear me? Do you see me? That's the most important thing.
Hello.
Hey, John. It's GizzyCredit. How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Okay, good. I know you are in I would just want to see if people could see me because I don't think my camera is on. Can you guys see me? Well, my camera is black. Never got the message. Wow. Yeah. I said yesterday that I'm gonna send you that information. I was on the phone, so I couldn't actually talk to you. But just send me. You know what? Send me an email. I'm gonna write my email right here. There you go. We can see you and hear you. Okay, cool. All right, John. I'm gonna call Eric right now.
All right.
We are live. Okay. Hopefully we could all hear each other. Another testimonial for GizzyCreditteam. You guys hear me well? I'm gonna put my Eric.
Hello.
Eric.
Yeah.
It's Gizzy. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Great. I know you've been a customer for some time, and we actually started doing these videos live on YouTube just to educate the customer on the process of how they got started with credit repair, the testimonial that you have for us, and thank you so much for being on the line. I'm gonna get John on the other line, and we're gonna have this. Not gonna take too long. We just want to know your experience with our service. Totally be honest with us, and we take it from there. Okay, let me put John on the other line.
Okay.
All righty, my people. Eric, John, we're all on the line.
Yep.
Okay, do you guys hear the conversation? All right, Deborah, I got a lot of people answering questions. But no, Eric has been a customer for some time. Reached out to me some time ago. But Eric at times has been a challenging customer to us. I'm not gonna lie, right, Eric? Absolutely. You and we're not gonna shy away from having that conversation live here for the 10 people who are watching. But for the many people who are going to be watching this video, learning about our service and how we help people with their credit and positioning them to do what they want to do with their credit. So I'll let John, ask you certain questions about our service, and you guys listen in. Thank you.
Hey, Eric, how you doing? I'm great, man. How are you? Good. So just to be clear, I wouldn't describe you as challenging, just to be clear. I think once you and I started communicating directly a lot more, I think that you're just somebody that has a lot of questions that need to be answered, and as a result, you needed some personalized communication, right? And I think from that point, things started to flow a lot smoother. But with that being said, we have worked together for a period of time. There have been some, things that had come on after we started and such. But the great news is that, you just settled on the house. What was it, about a month ago? 2 months ago?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, it was in June. Actually.
June. Oh, okay. So it's been a couple months now. But I think the thing we like to do with some of these is kind of walk it back from the beginning. So I believe before you started with us initially, you had followed Gizzy for a little bit, right? I mean, he was kind of the one that put you onto the process. Now, what were the things that kind of drew you to the service, and then what ultimately made you make the decision to kind of move forward? I know it's been a little while, so maybe we'll just dive back into that thought process just to get a little better idea, because it helps us understand exactly, what we need to be kind of lathering people with more and more, what we can do to kind of, from a quality control perspective, give them a little more of the process, transparency-wise.
Right. Okay. Well, initially I had gone on YouTube and I had been watching Gizzy and his YouTube videos for a while. And I know a lot of people, you have a lot of credit repair companies out here, but one thing I've always liked about Gizzy, he always showed results. So I reached out to him, and that's where it originally started. And everything that he told me that he was going to do, it happened. So I was just happy, that I finally run into someone that he's not only delivered on what he said he was going to do. He didn't make any kind of promises, that he did not come through with. And it didn't cost a lot, in actuality, because I had some challenging things on my credit. And I've been with you guys probably 3 years or longer.
Yeah.
And from that I got an opportunity to get to know John, who has really taken out the time to explain a lot of things to me that I didn't understand about, just credit, and it has helped me. And I've kind of, fallen off of the track a couple of times, and I would give him a call, and he was right there. If he didn't answer, he would always call me back, and he took out the time to answer my questions and tell me what I needed to do. It's not a 24-hour fixer. You have to be patient, but the process works. And I am a firm believer of Gizzy and John with what they do to help their clients to get the credit results that they want. That's the best way I can put it in a nutshell.
Well, I appreciate that. So let me ask you this. I know everybody's a little bit different, and we try to just to kind of go along with some of these success stories we're trying to compile now, just to give a little more transparency to the ecosystem we're trying to put together. Do you have a problem sending a picture of your house over just so we can put it all together, just so people can get a visual of what we're describing if they see this? If you're not okay with it, it's fine. But as the people,
I can hear you.
Okay, all right, good. Because we had another guy. We did another client of ours. We did a success story with yesterday, and he sent the stuff over today. So we're just trying to package them up together so you have kind of a visual to go along with what they're listening to right now, and it just kind of brings everything full circle. This is another thing we did yesterday, and I think it's important because I think it just leads and it lends to the transparency of what we try to do is. And feel free to be brutally honest. As far as pros and cons relating to the service with us, where do you feel everything stands as far as your experience thus far? Now, again, we both know that things have come on since you started, and we worked through them, and the goal has been met, right? So that's fabulous. But along the way, obviously, things come up, and we'd love to get your perspective on some pros and cons relating to the service that you've experienced thus far. Dealing with us and both myself and Gizzy.
Well, when my experience with you guys is whenever anything came up or came on to my credit that I thought, was taken care of or solidified, or maybe something that was once removed and they sold it to another company and then it reappeared, you guys were there. John, you were there to challenge, what was put on my credit. And it was, it's a process, but it was removed. And at the end of the day, regardless of how I tried to understand this credit thing, with the 30%, keeping your credit cards at 30% and all that good stuff, I just have a better perspective because of the transparency that John has given me when it comes to my credit. So I just text you a picture of my home.
I got it.
I give all of the credit to John and Gizzy because they worked with me to get to that place to where I was able to get totally financed to become a homeowner, something that I wanted to do from the beginning. I mean, to rent a home, for half of your life, and then you get to a point in your life and you cannot purchase a home when you have a good job and you have the finances to purchase a home, but it's based on your credit. And a lot of people don't understand now in the 20th century, people don't look at just your money, they look at your credit. And if your credit is messed up, they kind of judge you by that. So with that being said, because of the expertise of John and Gizzy, they have really helped me along the way to become not just a better financial person, but to be more keen on paying my bills on time. I've had a couple of bumps in the road, but no major things. But knowing that I can always go back to John and say, John, this is what happened. Can you help me with this? And he has always come through for me. So that's my testimony when it comes to that and me being transparent. So,
I appreciate that transparency. And again, we're just trying to keep it as open as possible as the purpose of these, so people can just get a full idea, because, it is a process, right? You know that. And I know we've talked many times over the years since you started with us, and just reiterating the fact, because the disputes themselves, they take 3 weeks to get done, right? So, once it leaves our hands, we wait 3 weeks to get those results. So, just that alone is the process in and to itself, where you have to wait 3 weeks to get the results back on something that you submitted day one. So, just kind of impressing upon the patience factor and the fact that no matter what, whether we get you done in a month or we get you done in 6 months, or if we hit some bumps, as in your case, and some zigs and zags, and then when you get everything together, we get you where you need to be, we'll get you where you need to be. I think that's the ultimate objective. And we're not, I think having a lot of these testimonials come through, which we're going to continue to have more and more as the weeks come on, because I just think it's a better way for people that are interested. This is why we asked you in the beginning, what gave you the confidence to kind of move forward with the service? And in a lot of cases, it ends up being trust. So with that being said, if we can kind of instill more trust by exposing more of the process to people that are, maybe on the, borderline of considering moving forward, maybe some of these other areas of transparency will allow them to feel more comfortable going forward, and just, real legitimate, testimonials that aren't done on like a review page, but you're actually hearing the individual communicate. You can gauge that individual's sincerity, et cetera, surrounding exactly what we did for them and what we're doing for them and continue to do for them. So, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to reach out just as it pertains to the process. I know that in your particular case, we talk a lot, I know you and I talk about just credit stuff in general sometimes on the phone. And I know grasping some of the specificity relating to credit, like you were saying earlier, pertaining to where your ratios need to be and how the reporting is, and just some of the nuances that maybe, obviously because it's not taught in the school, right? You really learn on the run if you're not dealing with somebody like myself, or Gizzy, who's been doing this for an exponential amount of time. I think it blends though with not only the service, but I feel as though with all the talks we've had and just you witnessing it over the years, and this goes for a lot of clients, you get a fairly good financial education as applies to credit just through going through the process and the questions and the answers and things like that. So at the very least, not only I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but not only do I think you at least get a good I would like to think a good service and good results. But I think just completely subconsciously, you also get probably a pretty good understanding of the system as it goes on. Maybe not a flawless understanding, but a much better understanding of the overall credit system when you finish than when you started. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think, like you said, I think it's a work in progress, and there's so many nuances that go on that it's like any business. But you have been a good customer, and we appreciate you taking the time today to from your busy schedule during the holidays as well, to just give us this testimonial and just give us a lot of your thoughts on the process and how it worked out. And like you said, you and I talk about this. Just about the fact that, as things come up, we take care of them for you going forward. So a lot of the relationships we have, a lot of these clients, they become lengthy relationships because it becomes a trust factor. Again, going back to what we said earlier, it becomes a level of trust. It's like, as a comparison, if you have a good plumber, if you have a good electrician, if you have a good handyman, if you have a good mortgage guy, you have a good realtor, etc. It's the same idea. You develop that level of trust.
For the credit repair people, I have a question that I'm going to ask them
when they're doing it,
you
and then you watch them execute based on your best behavior, or their best behavior based on a fiduciary responsibility, right? So, it sounded like that's what you had suggested, but in any instance, we're glad you were able to get that out. So you did just send me the pictures, so Gizzy, I got to send that over to you.
Okay, then, I'll post it on my stories on my Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. Eric, I have a question for you. Challenging, meaning your file was challenging at times, and I want to know about the mindset that you had whenever like a collection showed up on your credit report. Okay, whenever that happened, you were frustrated. Now, were you frustrated more with it showing up on your credit report, or were you frustrated with us as far as the people helping you out?
No, I was frustrated. Number one, when a lot of times a collection would show up and it would be a hospital bill, or a doctor's appointment, and it would be something very minute, something very small, but it would affect your credit so bad, where you wonder where was the breaking point where you didn't get any correspondence from your doctor's office. I know that I haven't, in the past. It will never happen again, because I make sure, you think that, and, it may sound like I'm, babbling, but at the end of the day, a lot of these hospitals now, once you go to the hospital and the insurance pay their part, they don't even correspond with the patient. They automatically sell that bill to a collection agency, and they immediately put it on your credit report. That happened to me. Because
we talked not to interrupt you.
$38.
We talked about. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. No, I was just going to say that we talked about it, with the client yesterday, just saying about how, these hospital bills and these medical bills, they're just ridiculous, and they've been fighting, from a legislative perspective for a long time, and trying to not get them to report, to the point now where they don't get a whole lot of personal information when they submit to the bureau. So in a lot of cases, they're easier to get off than some of the other accounts, right? But they're a nuance, like in your situation, right? So they end up fighting. The hospital ends up fighting with your insurance company for a long period of time, right? And however they do it, which is an accounting that none of us will ever understand. And once that ends, if they don't get what they want, it becomes an expedited process to collection, right? If they tried to send it somewhere, if it was the wrong place, etc., boom, collection. And then now you have, if the collection company doesn't have the proper information, that falls on you. And then, we've seen this time and time again, where people, like you said, it could be a $35, copay that for some reason didn't get taken at when you showed up, and it drops your score 40 points because it's the most recent late, and maybe you have a thin file, and it takes you down a couple pegs, right? Both psychologically and financially at that point. So, things like that can be discouraging. But keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just elaborating.
Well, what I was saying was, even just in the past, when I think about just what John and Gizzy have done with getting those themes removed, a collection could knock you down 40 points.
Yeah.
And and that can affect you going to the bank and instead of getting a 4% interest rate, you're getting a 14, 15, 18, sometimes 20% interest rate, just because of a $38 collection that has shown up out of nowhere that you didn't know anything about. But because I'm saying all this to say, because of Gizzy and John educating me on my credit, anytime something shows up on my credit, if my score goes up, if it goes down, I have a credit monitoring system with my credit because of them and the education that they have given me over the years. So when anything pops up, I immediately text or call John, and he calls me back immediately.
That's why credit monitoring is so important.
And that means so much to me.
And not Credit Karma.
Being that you have
Experian,
someone
Equifax,
at arm's reach
My FICO,
to be able to assist you in the time of need. It's not a quick process. You have to be patient. That's all I can say. You have to be patient, but it works. I'm a living witness that it works.
Well, we appreciate that. I mean, and the fact of the matter is, like you said earlier, I mean, we try to set the expectation for clients to a reasonable expectation, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that do come in and get done very, very quickly. Some people that take longer. There's a lot of people, most people, the 80% fall right smack dab in the middle, right? But the reality is, like we were saying, like we've said in the past, is that we try not to set the most ideal expectation for the client, because all you're going to do is create disappointment if you don't hit that number, So I mean, just impressing upon the client that it's a process. Just buy into what we're trying to do. You can buy into what we're trying to do, and you have the right people that are, have the proper information and proper intelligence as applies to the particular craft, and that they have your best interest at heart, and that they're capable of getting you where you need to be from the financial side. I mean, I think that can help a lot, because it becomes a full-scale process where you can kind of step away and peek in when you need to peek in, right? And ask for updates and ask for requests as they'll be coming in and getting a better idea. And it allows you the opportunity to really just let us do what we have to do, knowing that we're going to get it done as quick as we can, even if that may take a little longer sometimes, or it may take a little, it may get done quicker sometimes. So in your case, because of the bumps we hit, it took a little longer, but, you've been an awesome client. And, you've been very patient as we worked through, and I couldn't be happier you got the house. And, I'm looking forward to continue having you as a client, though.
Well, I appreciate you and Gizzy, and you guys are doing an awesome job, and I hope that what I've shared, my testimony that I've shared, would encourage more people to hire you all for your services, because it works. It works. I'm telling you, it works, because I never thought in a million years that I would be, a homeowner. But because of John and Gizzy, I can actually say that I am a homeowner, and not just a homeowner. Because of them, I have three new cars. So a Jaguar, a Range Rover, and I just bought my 19-year-old son a Camaro.
There you go.
Chilling.
Well, listen, I appreciate you taking your time and being so detailed with everything that you described. Just, it definitely helps for people listening. And, I wish you a happy new year, and I'm sure I'll be in touch with you. I'm sure we'll talk sometime in the new year.
Thank you so much, John. Take care, Gizzy.
You got it, Eric. Thank you. John, hold on. Okay, you there, John? Damn. John hung up. Let me see. John is busy right now. So, hey, Jay. Hey, listen. I know you pressed on time. Do you have like another 5-10 minutes to chill?
Yeah. No, I got like an hour. So I set aside like an hour. So.
All right, cool. I got some questions here, but more importantly, let's talk about his file, because he was ready to purchase a home a couple of times, and then something showed up, right? So can you speak on his file? And not only is it frustrated for you, the customer, but it's frustrated for us too, because now this adds on to the workload that we got to do to position this customer. We're not only dealing with the credit report, but we're also dealing with him and letting him know, look, we're going to get you there, but it's still going to take some time. But remember, it's such an emotional experience to get your credit ready for a mortgage that you've never had. So it's like you want it, but then you have some setbacks. But go ahead, John. Just talk a little about his process.
Yeah. So he had different goals. So his initial goal was when he came to us was to get a house, but it was a goal that he wasn't ready for immediately, right? So, I mean, he wanted it, but I don't think everything was in line at that time outside of his credit for him to be able to do that, right? So we had gotten his credit ready, and in that time is when, like he was explaining earlier, you know, he had got his car. I mean, he's opened up a lot of credit since we cleaned up his credit. So, you know, we got him ready originally in the first couple months. I would say 3-4 months we had him ready. And then there are the times when I think he got a couple, I don't want to speak on his whole situation, but he went and got, he had opened up some new accounts, which helped him at that time, right? Financially, helped him consolidate some stuff, and it put him in a much better position. And then as time went on and things started to improve, which enabled him to prepare more for the home purchase process, things had come up, which we had to take care of and got him back where he needed to be. Then he went and got a couple cars, which overall in the house purchasing process, the cars add to the debt to income, which can in a lot of cases, unless you know.
After we hung up yesterday, there was a question about should I get a car or not from a customer, from someone on the chat. And I was telling him how, it's going to add to your income. You know, if you could get a used $4,000 car.
No, I mean, what I would say is, I mean, let me just finish with Eric, and then talking about Eric, and then I'll just slide over to that. But as far as then he went and got the cars, and then there's been a couple little bumps after that. Correct. And then after he went and got the cars, then we, over the course of time, in the last 6 to 9 months, we got him nice and clean again to where he could go and get the house. He got a beautiful rate on the house. I just sent you the text of the picture of the house. It's a beautiful house.
Oh, okay. This customer is in New Orleans, right?
Who, Eric?
Yeah.
No, he's in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. Okay.
Yeah. But to answer your question earlier, so the idea about, what we try to tell people coming in the door is you have to prioritize, if the objective is to buy a house, because everybody comes in, rarely do we have somebody that comes in just says, I want good walking around credit, right? They normally have a reason,
a goal
for wanting to get credit, right? So if somebody comes to us and says, I want to get a house, then we typically say, well, let's knock the house out first, because that's your largest purchase. It's going to be hardest to qualify for, right? I mean, most people, 85% of our population can get an auto loan, at some rate, whether it's predatory or not. Credit cards are available if you have reasonable credit, especially through certain institutions. And the house is one of the harder ones to get. So we say, listen, rather than pressuring your debt to income ratios, which are the thing that determine the amount you can qualify for, which ultimately equates to the monetary amount of a house you can purchase. Don't stress that by going out and getting new cars, which adds to that debt to income, which essentially raises it and lowers the amount that you can purchase, size of a house wise. Go get the house, knock that out quick, and then immediately go get the car. Because honestly, if the car's a necessity and you got to do it, then you got to do it. But if you're real tight, because some people are, real tight in their debt to income ratio, because a lot of people in our country, they leverage up. They lever up when they get in, right? Most people lever up so much that they don't even have room for their school loans at a certain point because they defer them so long, and they lever up relative to their income so high that they can't even fit money in for their school loans, which is why the school loans are where they're at right now as far as like the default rate and stuff, and why the loan companies are willing to take such a haircut, just to get them worked out. But
correct.
With that being said, we always tell people, if you're going for a house, you got to do the car after, because otherwise it's going to impact you greatly. I mean, especially if you go, just for argument's sake, let's just do rough math, and let's say you bring in $3,000 a month gross income. Average debt to income right now on an FHA loan is around 55%. So that would leave you around $1,650 that you have available for all your bills and your mortgage payment. Okay. If you went out and just got a new $30,000 car for 60 months at 10%, your payment would be roughly about probably $610, right? Oof. So that $610 would take your buying power from $1,650 down to almost $900, right? About $1,000, assuming you have no other debts. Now, $1,000 at the current interest rate of about 3.5%, right? That would equate you for about a $275,000 house with average real estate taxes. So, I mean, that's how you kind of back into it. So if you add in, if you were to subtract that $500 or $600 payment we just talked about at 3%, that's an additional, believe it or not, at 3.5%, that's like an additional $130,000, $140,000 of buying power. So now you literally go from a $275,000 house to potentially a $410,000 house, right? Based upon the formulas that you can buy just by not getting the car beforehand.
I think we should do a video on the financing side of how to come up with the numbers so that people can have an understanding of how it works. So that people, because people don't know, the customers that come to us, they don't know. And these are smart people. We help doctors, we help engineers, architects, all that other stuff.
No, there's not anywhere it's taught. Nowhere that it's taught. I mean, unfortunately, people go to the internet to get their education on credit, and they don't know who they can trust, which is why we keep stressing trust as far as the people that you're dealing with and stuff. And we're more of a show and prove operation rather than, believe our words, ignore our actions, right?
Correct.
And the reality of the situation is that, unfortunately, people don't know because there's nowhere they can learn unless it's the internet. Nobody knows who they can trust on the internet, sadly. So, I think it would be good because I think the way that I'm able to explain things, I think I can probably make it a little clearer for people to understand so that they can, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then they can back into it and then they can actually see it with scenarios and stuff, how it ties together. And then this way they don't need to lean on, look, more education around this stuff levels the playing field, right? I mean, it's the way I feel. The more you empower people financially, fiscally, the more it levels the playing field against the people that are predatory against them, right? Like I have clients that whose credit will clean, and they'll be sitting in the 700s and they'll still have a Capital One card that has an annual fee, right? Because they haven't understood yet because their credit is so fresh. Why do they have a Capital One card that has a $100 annual fee when you should be dealing with the top tier cards, not the alternative credit cards, right?
Correct.
Capital One, it doesn't matter if they give you a $15,000 limit. If they're willing to give you a $15,000 limit, no matter what an A-paper credit card issuer is willing to give you, right? With not the 30% rate, it'll be a quarter of that, right? So it's things like that, the more you empower and the more you educate, I think the more the consumer can make the right decision rather than a hasty decision or a decision that's unsustainable. So yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I mean, I think a lot of this stuff, because it doesn't take away from what we're doing. You understand what I mean?
Correct.
Like educating people doesn't take away from the job that we're doing. It just allows them to understand better what's going on. And honestly, sometimes that increased level of transparency can allow them to empathize and understand what the process is and what it takes and the amount of work it takes, which is a lot. If you know what you're doing, you're actually doing it right. So it allows them to understand a little bit, and it's not this kind of Craigslist mentality of, I expect it to get done tomorrow. Why isn't it done tomorrow? Why, you know what I mean? Because it's just not. There's just that clear gap of understanding still that we're trying to help fill.
Well, the Craigslist customer is very different than the YouTube customer as well. I mean, that's why we're not on Craigslist. That Craigslist, they're just a whole bunch of scams, people promising, guaranteeing stuff. We're not about that life. We do everything legit. And on top of that, Jay, we also have people who do credit repair on watching us. So not only are you educating the customer who wants to become a customer, you actually have credit repair people who actually also are listening to us.
Right, but I think that's in large part of it's because it's not a lot of them have bought the professional system, right?
Well, right now,
we made it and stuff.
Right now, sorry to interrupt you, but we got Brian Taylor, and Brian was one of the first people to purchase our professional system when we were doing TransUnion and Equifax online.
Right.
But then I told him about the Experian info, so he wants to know how much is the Experian online portal that we sell.
I think we sell it by itself. I think it's $550 or $600, something like that.
$550, $600, Brian. So if that for
the Experian by itself. I got to check, but I mean, I believe that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of information out there that I think needs to be circulated. So I mean, I think listening to some of these clients and helps to just open up the doors of transparency, which I think is huge. And then I think the more transparent you are, the more people realize how sincere you are and what it is you're trying to do, and that you have the best interest at heart. And then, again, it's all about a trust situation, because like we talked about before, it's unfortunately the way this is set up. We help clients in almost every state of this country, plus people overseas and stuff. So you're not sitting down; they're not walking into your office, shaking your hand, looking you in the eye. So you got to double, triple up, and work a lot harder to earn trust, then if somebody walks into your operation, has the ability to get to know you and sit down across from you. So it's a process that to build trust and to do it the right way and to make the client feel comfortable and know that they can rely on you to do what you want. But I think, just based on the last 2 days and the last 2 clients that came through, it's going to be the same song with all the clients that come through with the success stories. It's just how we operate. The clients that deal with us know we have their best interests at heart.
Correct.
Once they start getting to work with us, they know that we're going to get them where they need to be. They know that they're learning, either directly or indirectly throughout the process. So, that's what the whole process is about, though. I really think that's what it is.
Well, check this out. I got someone who's kind of frustrated on the chat that she's asking for, can you do, how much do you charge for, I need a credit sweep? And I told her we don't do credit sweeps. All right. This is hilarious. Right. Yeah. So she's frustrated. She's like, I can't believe you don't do it. Someone else says that they do credit sweeps here. I told them we're not about that life. We've never done credit sweeps. And she's asking, why don't we do credit sweeps, John?
All right. So I mean, this term gets thrown around going back, 6-7 years. This term gets thrown around so loosely that it's kind of changed shape a couple different times. But back in the day, and probably more to present, the idea behind credit sweep just means you're filing fake police reports and fake fraud affidavits and submitting them to the bureaus. Here's the problem. 7 years ago, not that that was ever our process, but it was much more effective 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when the bureaus didn't have direct fraud teams inside their operations. Right. And as a result, it's like anything in life, whether it's banking, anything that's regulated, that gap that's there, it gets filled eventually. Now, it doesn't get filled in 30 minutes. In this case, it took about 2 years. But what ends up happening is they all now, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, they now have their own fraud department. So whether or not you give that police report, they investigate on their own. That police report is not a golden gift that somehow means that these accounts have to come off. So now you're seeing situations which we're on the receiving end of as a result, where people were promised credit sweeps. They go submit these fake fraud affidavits, fake police reports. They think just because they went, not only is it a misdemeanor wrapped in a felony, but over and above that, they thought
misdemeanor wrapped in a felony. Why is that a misdemeanor wrapped in a felony?
Because you found a fake police report in a lot of cases. That's a felony by itself. And then you're transmitting it, in a lot of cases, you're transmitting along state lines. That's another felony. Because you're mailing it to the bureaus to handle it. There's just so much. At a certain point in time, there's so much that went on. There was no way to keep track of it, right? But now the bureaus came in and they provided their own departments to be able to facilitate that, right? So it's not like it was before. But the problem with that is that now what's happening is people are going in, they're getting promised with these credit sweeps. And again, it's a term that just gets used autonomously and just mysteriously because half the people don't even know what it means. But with that being said, if it doesn't work, if for some reason, you're one of the small percentage or the large percentage now that it doesn't work, you're in a bad position on the other side of that. So now you've just submitted a fake, fraudulent documents, fake police report, et cetera, to the bureaus. The bureaus now have that. They have all that stuff on file. So when you try to come behind that, very, very difficult because you ultimately get flagged. Because now they just flagged the file because it was everything that was submitted was fraudulent, right?
Correct.
I haven't ever seen in all the clients we've helped, I haven't ever seen the bureaus actually act on. I had a client not that long ago who.
Well, you remember the doctor? Remember the doctor from I think it was Ohio, and now he lives in Florida. He paid a credit sweep. I forgot his name, but he paid for a credit sweep. Then came to us, and then he was thanking us and all that. And these are people who make $350,000 a year.
Let me just give you an example. So this was like a month ago.
Okay.
There was a client that came through, and he was like, "I don't know what this letter is. I haven't seen this before." So this was outside of anything we're doing. This was just a random client.
Okay.
And it was a letter from Experian. It was like, "Listen, we received your dispute, your fraud dispute," and it was like a letter I've never seen before. It's like, "We don't take this as a joke. We have the ability to file blah 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 blah. I'll send a copy of it to you over." From the client. And he was like, I go, "Honestly, man, I'm almost 10,000 clients since I've never seen this letter." He goes, "Should I be concerned?" I'm like, I'd be concerned because I haven't seen this letter before, right? And this is a letter that's addressing the fact that this individual tried to file something suggesting fraud and they weeded it out. And this was from Experian. Now keep in mind, remember what I said yesterday about how Experian only has 10,000 total employees worldwide.
Correct.
Okay. 10,000 people. So you'd have to think of those 10,000. I would think a rather reasonable size of them represent this fraud unit. Because if you go back in previous years, 14, 15, et cetera, when they were light, the amount of employees they had were a lot less. So this is suggesting that they're beefing up that side of their business to prevent these quote unquote credit sweeps. Now, I'm not saying right now at this point in time, there's not a situation where it may possibly work. I'm certainly not encouraging it, and I don't think anybody should do it. But if they were to do it, I'm not saying there's a chance that it might not work. I'm saying that going back 6-7 years, that's why there were so many other companies in business 6-7 years ago, because that's exactly what they were doing. It didn't require any skill, didn't require any art to it. It was a way you tried to cut a corner. But like everything else goes on in life, the corners get closed. You know, when you're dealing on a big regulatory scenario, they don't ever stay open. They eventually get closed. It's exactly what's happening here. And they're beefing up on the creditor side, and they're beefing up on the bureau side to prevent people from making this broad suggestion, so that, you know, they protect the creditors, because it's essentially what the bureaus are trying to do, right? They're not designed to protect us. They're designed to protect the creditors, right? And the creditors' positions on these particular debts. So by them beefing up for whatever reason, my guess is they probably, you know, because they charge these particular creditors the report. So my guess is they probably went back and said, look, we're going to charge you more now. And as a result, we're going to have to beef up this unit, that unit, et cetera.
Wow.
And then that's where we stand today. But no, I would never recommend that. I don't know why anybody would recommend that. And I don't think that's the quick solution. And I think most people that think it's the quick solution then go down it, and then they realize what exactly happens as a result of it, and then it doesn't work, are like, what did I just do? You know, and it's another one of those hasty decisions where they're looking for a quick solution, and that quick solution, unfortunately, in a lot of cases nowadays just does not materialize the way, you know, it may have in the past.
Correct. Now, this same person is asking thoughts on pay for deletion credit repair. Results first, then pay.
We talked about this yesterday. So what was the last part of the question? I'm sorry.
No. She's talked about thoughts on pay for deletion credit repair. Results first, then pay. No, the yesterday was pay here, buy here, which was...
Yeah, I know, but I went on a tangent because I thought she was talking about pay for delete. So the pay for delete scenario is, again, you know, nowadays you're starting to see some of the larger collection companies, Portfolio Recovery, Midland, IC Systems, where if it's a debt that's about to age off, their motivation to you is to
no, Jay, no, not that. She wants to pay for delete credit repair, meaning as a company.
Oh, so we remove it and then they pay later?
Correct.
Listen, that's adorable, but no, that's not reality. I mean, here's what ends up happening. You know, when you've been through almost 10 years and almost 10,000 clients, however long you've been doing this, you try every pricing way possible to accommodate the client and take in as many clients as you can.
And we have tried everything.
And we have tried to be as accommodating as possible. And the sad reality of it is, over the course of time, the only one that ends up getting burned is us when we try to extend credit. I mean, the most we'll ever, and this is if it's a strong referral from somebody that is a very good client of ours, the most we'll break out is 2 payments. Because honestly, even that, there's been times in the past where we used to predominantly give 2 options. You can pay in full, or, you know, you can pay front and back. And we were chasing people around. People were stiffing us. They were going to buy houses and stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's in the client's best interest, especially too, if the process goes on further. If the client does choose they want to discontinue down the line, you know, we have a reimbursement based into our contract if they don't want to let us finish, if they don't have patience, if for some reason the file's taking longer.
Correct.
So it's not as if we're just saying you pay us and you're stuck. I mean, we obviously want to finish our job, but we know we're going to do our job. And honestly, through all the years and the rigmaroles, I mean, for us to unfortunately trust the consumer, we've tried to do that by extending credit, and it's backfired. So as a result, since we know we'll do our job, we know we'll come through, we don't do that. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know any companies that do that anymore. I remember that worked. That was a fad for a while.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why we didn't take any customers from Georgia, because that was around that area. It was crazy how everyone who called me around that area was like credit sweep, and they got promised so many things that they were expecting us to, you know, we did give people fast results, but we give people legit credit repair results. I mean, we've been doing this 10 years plus. And
yeah, but you know what? It's not even just about, you got to understand something. Ours is a little bit of a different process because the people that come in, we get them to the goal too. I mean, getting somebody to 700 credit score is an accomplishment, right? But that's step one in our broader process in a lot of cases. So it's like, yeah, we got you to 700. Now, you know, at most intake calls, we knock out what are the goals. You want a car? You want this? You want that? You know, like we talked about earlier. So, I mean, getting the scores up is one part of a much broader process. Knocking out the financial goals are where the expertise comes into play, right? I mean, obviously our ability to remove accounts, get scores up is a commodity, right? But being able to position these people into situations where 4 months ago, you know, they thought the idea of buying a house was a complete anomaly, right? And now 4 months later, they're literally in their house. Like Dante yesterday, I mean, literally it was 2 disputes and he was already putting in an agreement for a house. He didn't even he had no idea he'd be buying a house before he started. He thought that was going to be who knows how long. Correct. So I'm saying, like, that's where the expertise comes into play. Everybody's so stung on the results, and then they think they're going to go out, they're going to position themselves fiscally so quickly. It just doesn't work like that, sadly. And I think that people learn that after the fact. That's why, you know, this whole approach is more about, you know, it's more about a full getting clients to a position of sustainability when they leave, right? Because it's great. Yeah, listen, it's great if we could just set you up and get 700 credit and say, all right, man, it's nice knowing you. We'll talk to you in 8 months because now you're going to go finance the 18% car, even though you should have a 6% car. We know you're not going to be able to sustain it. We know in 7 or 8 months you're going to go bad on it, and then you're going to start going bad on the other debts that you just opened up, and you're going to be right back to us. But that's not how we operate. It's not the purpose of what we're trying to do, right? So the purpose of what we're trying to do is get you in a position so you don't have to come back to us. Because honestly, we give discounts to clients that come back. I mean, it's not a victory for us when a client, and it happens, it's part of life, but it's not a victory when a client comes back after we've cleaned them one time. It's a lot of work to get the client clean the first time.
Yes.
And, you know, it's a lot of work to get them clean the second time. So, and I think that gets lost in the process. But, you know, whatever the case, yeah, I just think going back to what you were saying earlier about the pay for the delete then pay. I mean, that is, I haven't heard that in a while. That's a new one.
So I got another question from Brian Taylor. He says, Gizzy, I want to ask another question. If I've been doing it online, does it waive your rights to take them to court if they don't remove the item off your credit report?
Well, I think
if you dispute online,
this is. But here's what happens, right? I see this all the time, and it's crazy. So these credit boards are they are the origination of some of the most ridiculous myths I've ever heard, ever. I mean, I've heard and they all come back, and they don't ever materialize. They're like fads that come and go, right? And this one started about, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe a couple of years ago, I started hearing this thing. So I to answer the question, if a client wanted to take a creditor to court, you know, there's absolutely no scenario where that would stop a client from a legal perspective taking the creditor to court. If they wanted to sue the bureau, I don't know why they would want to sue the bureau. I don't know what they would get out of suing the bureau, and there'd probably be a lot of cost involved. So I'd love to know the individual consumer that tested this approach and then ultimately prospered from it, right? Because, I mean, it becomes a situation where you're going to go there and you're going to sue all these different people to get something removed when it can be done outside of that. But all that being said, no, I'm not familiar in all the years I've been doing this where I've ever seen a thing. And I've seen, look, there's situations where clients get taken to court constantly by the creditors, you know, for an account that goes into collection and the creditor before we started or something, and they're taking, then we got to guide them through the court process and such. You don't ever see that stuff happen. It's just, again, these credit boards just percolate misinformation. They're represented by people that don't do it for a living. They give opinions. In those opinions, then you have a bunch of other people who adopt those opinions as fact, and then they percolate the opinion everywhere they can. And the reality is perception becomes reality, whether it's reality or not. So now these same myths, they drum up every 2 or 3 years, and they come back around, and they circle their. I'm sure the bureaus probably started that myth, because the reality situation is they probably want to avoid you doing it online, because it's a whole different process submitting it online than it is submitting it by mail, as far as how certain information gets knocked off, which enables certain accounts to get knocked off. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a false flag in that situation. It's the bureaus percolating that in an effort to try and get people not to do it online. But no, I haven't ever seen that happen. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that's a reality. And we've been disputing with clients with success for 10 years. So And I haven't ever heard one complaint from a client that we somehow waived their right to anything that they wanted to do in any walk of life.
Correct. That's true. And every customer that comes to us, we dispute online every time. Every customer. Is there a reason why we dispute online, Jay?
Well, I mean, it works into the broader process that we utilize, right? I mean, the process we have is a broad process that goes on if it takes longer. So it works into the broader process to start off that way because it helps to expedite certain parts of the process to do it online initially. But with that being said, you also waive the mail time in and out. I mean, you're talking about 7 or 8 days that you can lose going in and out of mail time with these disputes.
Correct.
It's a lot of time, man. I mean, you're waiting 3 weeks for it to get done. So, I mean, hitting it while the iron's hot initially, and it has a lot of benefits to doing it online first. And sometimes if you have to do it initially, it really depends on how the first round comes back to determine how you're going to hit it on the second round. But the online method is absolutely integral to the whole process. And that's just not just us. That's any credit repair company that's doing it. I mean, and honestly, I don't know a client that's happy about not having their stuff done online at some point in time, you know? Like they don't want to wait. Nobody. I mean, look. As much as we stress patience, people have patience the best they can, and that's all we can ask for, right? They still get impatient, even if it's a short period of time. So you gotta be moving this stuff along, and it helps to expedite the process as well. So I have no intention of stopping disputing online, and I don't agree with that myth that's been working its way around for years and years and years now.
Correct. So the same woman who asked about the pay for delete, credit repair,
mm-hmm.
She said, I used a company that does this, and I did it for a year, got me mortgage ready, and bought a home.
Great.
So I'm like, so why are you asking for a credit sweep then?
Why are we credit sweeping then? I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm being serious. Then what are we talking about then? If we're trying to, I mean, if you have a company that did that for you and they were willing to extend terms like that, I think that's spectacular. And if they did you right, why wouldn't you just go back to them? I don't understand why you're looking for
a credit sweep now. You know what I'm saying?
Nefarious ways such as credit sweeps to try and get the accounts removed. I don't know why, if you had a source that worked for you and helped get you in a position to buy a house, that you wouldn't want to go back to that same place if they were offering the terms that you wanted offered.
Correct. It's crazy, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, you do your best to try and make everybody happy. Everybody's got a different perspective. Everybody's perspective is unique. So, I mean, for that particular person, I think that, if she had a company that did it exactly how she wanted to get it done, I don't know why she would want to look for another one now. But
correct.
Don't
go the fast route with credit repair. The people who go the fast route or the cheapest route, always, it's either gonna take you longer or it's gonna put you in a bad situation.
Listen, here's the thing. This is the brass tacks about it, right? There are people that get done quick. We get clients done. I've gotten clients done in a day before, right?
Oh yeah, we've gotten those results.
And they get done in a day. It happens sometimes. It's just you can't tell beforehand. You just don't know beforehand. Now, if somebody comes and said they've been to Lexington Law for 9 months, I normally tell them, well, have some patience because those files get grinded out. And not talking badly about Lexington Law, it's just how it is because we come behind them a lot.
Correct.
Same goes with somebody tried to file a fake police report that we talked about earlier. They're tough to come behind. I mean, they're just tough to come behind for the reasons I explained earlier. It's just how it is. I mean, it's a one-shot Dillinger, man. You get one shot in that. If you do it wrong, you set yourself back significantly. And it's very difficult for any company to come in behind it. But we still get people done. We still have many clients that we've helped that filed fake stuff and they came to us after, and we were able to still get them in the position where they need to be. So every client is unique. Trying to put everybody in a box and give them the same exact expectation is unrealistic, and it's smoked. Coming in and giving people a broad expectation, but just trying to impress patients and letting them know, listen, this is an average for us that we typically turn people around. We might get it done sooner. It may take a little longer. Try and have patience with the process. We're going to get you where you need to be. Correct. The fun part is knocking out the goals. I mean, once we get the scores where they need to be, and then they start, whoa, I got a house. Whoa, I got the car I wanted at an incredible rate. My payment's less now on a $30,000 car than it was on a $15,000 car last time, right?
Correct.
Because the rate's totally different. Oh, wow, yeah, I can get approved for cards that, that aren't Capital One or Credit One or Merrick, right?
Correct.
You start seeing their eyes open, and that's the part of the process that's validating as far as getting them where they need to be. But, to each his own. This is why everybody, some people drink Coke, some people drink Pepsi, some people, everybody identifies with whoever they align themselves with because of they share the same perspective. And, we're looking for clients that want to buy into our process,
Correct.
Whether that process takes a month, or that process takes a couple months, the goal is to not only get you where you need to be, but get you in a sustainable position going forward.
That's what's up. Yeah, great. As you can see, my people, John here is amazing with his knowledge of credit repair, finance, mortgages. Everyone is different, and we position these people to do what they want to do. So we're not only just sending out letters and sending you on your way. We're doing our job and educating you on how you could go about doing things. That's why John has come out with systems like the $99 do-it-yourself credit repair system, or the $99 credit card funding system that teaches you how to get those high limit credit cards instead of paying.
So let me just say something real quick about that. When originally the credit life systems came out, that was strictly for consumers, right?
Correct.
Because we were getting people that were coming to us and were like, we can't afford the service.
Correct.
And we didn't want them to go at that time to a situation that could make their situation worse. So we said, all right, here's an affordable situation that you can do. Comes with endless support. There's no cost for the endless support. It comes with free endless support through the support team. Plus there's a forum built into the site relating to it. And we did that for consumers. Over the course of time, then it turned into a platform for people that wanted to get into credit repair. And that wasn't the purpose of it, right? It wasn't for people to monetize from a business perspective. It was for consumers, right? The same with the funding side. I couldn't tell you, how many people email the support and are emailing the support asking questions on a broad scale about clients and such. And I'm like, listen, I don't have problems with our support answering the questions and providing it. This is not what it was for, though. It was to provide an affordable option with the proper information that can get people where they need to be at a consumer level, not at a business level. Now, I'm glad that it works for people, and a lot of people have parlayed it into a business, which I think is great, and I'm all for capitalism. But at the same time, I just think that it needs to be understood. And we originally set it up, it was to help the consumer. The clients that we couldn't potentially help could now do this and not pay 15% back end fee on the funding, right? Or they don't have to pay and go get something done that they're completely unaware of, have no idea. Like we're talking about a credit suite. Maybe they don't fully understand it. They go and do it. They spend $1,000 and they come back and they're in a worse position they were. They don't even know what they did, right? So they go and buy the system. The system has every ingredient that you need as an individual, where it's not needed to be done on a professional level, but it's on a level that you can understand, you can grasp. It gets the results. It works off the same general dynamics that we work on as far as the broader process that we use. And it gets them in a much better position. Plus they're educating themselves at the same time for $99. I know there's a lot of systems out there since we came out with ours. And, I don't know what kind of substance they have, so I can't compare it because I don't buy any of them. But I do know that the one that we have works very well for people if they can't afford our service. So they should definitely consider it, for all those reasons.
Correct. Yeah. No, I was telling people at the time that it came out that we got this system, specifically for people in Georgia, because we stopped taking customers from them. And we still every day, we'll get calls from people in Georgia. And I was telling people in Georgia, look, you could do it yourself with a $99 system. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, go about yourself, do it yourself, be responsible for yourself, learn how to do it, and go about your life, And we have gotten people that, have you seen from our other videos, that people purchase the $99 credit repair system, then they purchase the funding system.
The funding system, yeah.
They fix their credit in about
I think that's great because, again, you're talking about it's a $200 investment, right, that you're saving yourself in some cases. Look, some people aren't DIY people, right? They're just not. Some people will literally spite themselves and go try to do their whole plumbing in their house, and their house will explode, and then they'll call the plumber, right? So, there's some people that are just naturally DIY people, and there's certain people that would just rather let the professionals do it. And then there's some people that are just don't have the resources to be able to hire someone to do it. And that's what this was really designed for. And when we hear stories where it worked out and, that investment went a long way for him. It's a beautiful thing because that was the original intention of the system, right? I mean, obviously, it was to just make sure that the clients are staying, the people that are trying to get help from us are staying on the right path. But when you see them do it right and they follow it and everything comes through, that's great. I mean, it's a rewarding situation, not only for the client but for us at the same time.
Correct. I'm just asking. Someone's asking if the systems are still available to this date. Do you have a number of how many systems have been sold? Because I tell people all the time, we've sold over 4,500 systems. I'm pretty sure that was
yeah, it's more than it's more than that for sure. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers. I don't keep the ticker, but I can find out. I mean, I can go in and check it, but it's more than that for sure.
It sells every day, guys, and it comes with endless support. And we'll make a video specifically for the $99 do-it-yourself system and the credit card funding system. I've made videos on those already, but it has been on success stories that people have shown me of. Hey, Gizzy, I bought the system. Look at what I did for me. Or the funding system. Hey, Gizzy, I bought this system and look how much in funding. Someone got over $100,000, 80,000. Remember, not everyone is trying to get $100,000 in personal credit cards. Some people just trying to start off. Some people just want their regular $10,000 or $20,000, $30,000. But we'll get more into that conversation in another video to show you guys too, so to educate you even more. Yeah. So Jay, let me see. Hey guys, what's the price for all 3 credit bureaus? We only charge a one-time fee, and we commit to your file until everything is removed. I'm gonna send you my email right now. The real Jay. My email is GizzyCredit@GizzyCredit.com. Oh, it's my bad. GizzyCredit@GizzyCredit.com. So yeah, so John, it's been like 4 people on this chat right now since we've been on that asked about quotes. So if anything, you'll be, we're going to be answering your emails if you send them over. The only time we don't work or day we don't work is Sundays, but normally we get back to emails fast. And if you text me, I normally get back to text messages fast, unless I'm doing something else. Because remember, I'm more on the social media side while John is doing his thing, sending out disputing online, disputing by mail. He's really the brains of it all, as you can see. So yeah, Jay, do you have anything else? I know we're going to be doing more videos on testimonials because every person is different.
Yeah, so no. I mean, I think like I've been saying and just harping on, I just think the more transparency into what we're doing, how we do it, who we are, our intentions, our motives for the client, I think can allow them, if they're, look, it helps both sides because it allows them to determine if they want to work with us, and allows us to let them know exactly what we're about as far as our process and what we need in the process and everything like that. So it can help to make a much better fit, because credit repair, like we're talking about, is a process.
Correct.
Good, bad, or indifferent, it's a process. So, we want it to be a functional, copacetic, communicative, transparent environment for both sides with open lanes of communication where we work through it together as we get the results and they appreciate the results and we get them to their goals. So I think the more we can try and kind of open this door to letting them into the process and the clients and all that stuff, they can get a better idea of their comfortability in general,
Okay. All right, cool, Jay. So next week we'll probably be on for some intake calls.
I got Willie said he was scheduling for I don't know if before New Year's or right after, so I have to email him later today. But he said he wanted to do one. So
okay.
I'm getting a lot of feedback from a lot of the clients that want to get on. So I mean, it'll be good. It'll be a good little segment that we can do, and then this way it can be a situation where the clients can give their particular experience, right? Because everybody's experience is a little different. Eric was different from yesterday, which was Dante, right? I mean, they're totally different people. They had totally different experiences that ended with the same goal, right? Which is them achieving their goal A, but also, still having the same results where they learn stuff. And if you listen to some of the keywords, some of the key things are, that they harp on is the amount of communication, the results, us doing what we say we're going to do, the trust, etc. And I think that's big because if you see them all hear that, or you hear them all saying that, then obviously that's a pretty good indicator that's how we run the show, and these aren't cherry picked people that we're just plopping in there that somehow are saying the exact same things. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So, I look forward to showing more of the clients so we can just be more and more transparent.
Well, before you leave, John, S. House said, Gizzy and John are putting out some great educational info. I've been watching you on and off for some time now, and I have improved my score on my own by just watching you. So, Jay, we helping mad people out there, bro.
No. That's what. Look, at the end of the day, that's what. I mean, we're in a service-related business, right? That's what this is. It's a service-related business. So
correct.
And it's and like we talked about before, it becomes a situation where, unfortunately, we don't. This isn't something that's taught in school. It's just not. And the amount of misnomers that are floating around there right now that cloud people's minds and they attach themselves to are just they're profound. So if we can provide some clarity and some reality, right, with just direct reality as far as what's truth, what's fact, what's fiction, and then allowing them to understand it while doing the work that we're doing and getting them in position, I think it's a win for everybody.
Correct. All right, Jay. Well, if anything, we'll see each other next week here online with John. More educational credit repair videos. People got started, testimonials, intake calls of how each person is individually. I need both trade lines. Okay, I got that, Brian. But no, Jay, thanks, man. And see you soon.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it. Thank you. All righty, my people. That's John. Thank you so much for the people who still logged on. Deborah, listen, you came at me and you said, do you I don't want to go back up here. And you said, do we do credit sweeps? And then you're like, you don't do credit sweep. And now you're telling me that I'm unprofessional because I laugh because you're coming to me and you're saying, I want this. And then you're acting like it's for you. So if you got a company that helped you with pay for delete, go to that company, but you asking for a credit sweep. So you went to a pay for delete company first and you got your results. You got your house in a year, but you're asking on the chat why we don't do a credit sweep. I know you're asking for somebody else, but it sounds like you asking for yourself. Okay. So that's why I laugh, because it's kind of contradictory how you went to a company, you did pay for the lead, they position you to gotta do, you come to my chat and you're asking for a credit sweep, which we already explained to you what a credit sweep is, and we're not about that life. And I laugh because now you said, I went to a company that did that. Then go back to them. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, my people, this video is not about Deborah. This video is about everyone else who is in here and the people who will be watching this video. Okay, this video, I don't make these videos for just one person. I make this video for the thousands of people who watch my videos. And I just want to say thank you for watching, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, liking the video, because this exposes us to have more of a broader audience so that more people could watch the content and learn how to do things for themselves. All right. No, you made assumption. No, that's how you came across. All right. I'm going to be real right now. And you call me unprofessional, but yeah, I'm giving professional results. Okay, mama? Anyways, video is not about you. Listen, the next video will be next week. Intake calls or testimonial videos are going to be for more educational side, because everyone is trying to do something different. So the education is going to be you that do credit repair. Not only are you getting expert knowledge, but you're going to also learn how to have a conversation with your customer of how to do things. Now, remember, we do sell a professional do-it-yourself credit repair system. And of course, if you can't afford that system and you don't do credit repair as a business, we have the $99 systems where you could do it yourself, and there's more of a personal note. All right, my people. Anyways, the video is not about you. Right, take yourself back, Anyways, my people, they're out of business. Oh my goodness. Anyways, bendiciones to everyone. That means blessings. Light your candle. All right, shoo out all that negative energy. I got sage somewhere around here. All right. Positive energy all the time. Bendiciones to all. Thank you for still liking the video. You're still making assumptions, and I'll leave it at that. Okay. She won the fight. what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna pray for you, Deborah. Okay, and if you got a customer, pray for them too. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I love ya. See ya later. Peace.